Okay, here's the 83 model Land Cruiser. Body's overall decent. Is some rust around the lower portion of the doors. Nothing too serious. Got some rust there. Undercarriage, pretty fair. There is the small puddle over a couple months worth of it sitting that I noted in the Craigslist post. The rear panels, like I mentioned in the Craigslist post, I don't know exactly what took place, but I believe the bumper was probably hooked or ripped off somehow and created the damage back here. The rear hitch was not on it. Whenever I purchased it, I placed that on it. Got some new tail lights for it. That actually came off of the other Land Cruiser. Still have all my hunting gear and everything over the few years in it. What you see here is some type of glue or something. They had some type of liner in. I'm not sure what it is, but it's all solid. It won't come off. Some more rust in the fender well area. As well as underneath the driver's side door. Give it a cold startup. There's the seat issue I mentioned. It's got the fancy carpet in there. That actually does work. I was sort of hesitant with that stuff in there to begin with, but it keeps the heat from just completely basically burning you. Mileage, and as you see, the odometer is set to 0 because that's what happened whenever the speedometer cable broke, whenever I reset it to get mileage. This model does have factory air. It's got a condenser. It's not hooked up. It's the old style R22, I think. I'm not certain, to be honest. 4-speed with reverse, 4 low, 4 high, and 2-wheel drive. Like I said, I just have all my hunting stuff in here still. Headliner is ripped back there. Dome light. I actually saw a little fracture in the lens, and you can see I pushed my finger straight through it. This panel is broke on the passenger side, as well as starting to chip over here on the driver's side. Nothing too big. Alright, this is cold start. Manual choke all the way out. I'm going to pump the gas just a couple times and got good oil pressure. Go ahead and push that on in. I currently have it in 4 low whenever I park it in my garage. Light goes off. Shift it in 4 high. Light on again. 4 low. Blowers all work. All these controls work. There is I'm going to shut this down for now. There is a lot of heat that continuously blows even during the summer out of this. There needs to be some type of valve set up to bypass the heater coil, which I intend on doing this summer if I don't sell this. It does have a CD player in it that is hooked up to a couple speakers that somebody put in the door, which is a fail, especially on this side. They cut the hole out too large. This is just sitting in here and it actually grounds out and the speaker does not work. So I just don't listen to the radio. There's 2 6x9s in the back. Nothing too big. Just a bunch of stuff in here from, like I said, whenever I was driving it regularly. Still drive it on the weekends. Alright, let's look underneath the hood. Fuse panel right here. Pretty simple. Is a pretty heavy bumper on it with an old school winch plate here. I just mounted 2 KC lights on it, and those are actually hooked up to the bright lights, so whenever you hit your brights it goes ahead and kicks on everything else. Alright, I'm going to set the tablet down while I get the hood up. Okay, this is actually this relay for the lights itself, and just an original F2 motor. Go inside, Chase. I have a relatively new alternator, and down here is the AC pump, which is not current. It still has a belt on it. Not sure if we can see that in the photo, but it does not work. It does not engage, and it should be the old Freon. There is an aftermarket distributor on it. I did not install that. Previous owner put that in. The original intake actually was out of this side, and it runs over to the passenger in this area. Due to the snorkel that it has on it, you must go ahead and remove, replace, reposition this portion, and it connects to a tube which goes up to the snorkel itself. Thankfully, I have not got to try out the snorkel. It's more there just for looks. This is a vacuum line nightmare. Pretty well standard with the 2F motors. It's just the standard series. I did have a couple radiator leaks whenever I bought it. I just dabbed a little bit of solder on them. They've pretty well held for the time being. No issues out of it as of this point. Alright, now we'll walk out here and we'll check out the other one, the brown parts rig. 82 model, severe rust. As you can even see right there on the front of the frame. On the driver's side door, literally the hole there. I took out the handle and the part of the mechanism for the driver's side door to put on the other one. Go ahead and open up the hood on this. See if I can do it one-handed. A little better than the other one. Same motor. This one appears to have a new radiator in it. Looks to be in a lot better shape than the other one, or at least cleaner and newer. However, it is pretty well bone stock. And as you can see here, the intake shooting over to the passenger side, which should go down to an attachment, I believe, that, well, it's actually right there. And that's where the original intake is. This one will start, but I'm not certain if we can even see it in this mess. Right there is a gasket, and I have no idea what that assembly is called or anything else, but it's right before, it's actually above the donut gasket. It's some type of manifold that leaks. It is extremely loud. It sounds like a V8, sort of with a lope, but it does run. Interior in this one is very good. All the door panels are real nice. Rear seat is very nice. Carpet itself is very nice. I've taken apart the driver's side door. As you can see from here, it had the original liner, whatever that is. They had an aftermarket stereo at one time in this and created that mess. Not certain what the point was or anything else, but the driver's side seat does have an issue that they tried to cover up. This is a new back glass, which replaces that one. Furthermore, on rust. Actually a hole into the cab. Just a lot of rust. Not in good shape. New water pump. Filters, some spark plugs. Just miscellaneous. I think those are tire chains. Some type of military surplus things. I took the tail lights off of this unit and put on the other one. Rust on the passenger side. There's also an issue right here on this panel. The sun might be in the way, but I don't know what's going on. Paint just flaking off in big chunks. Even comes factory with a deer bobblehead. I'm sure that's fancy. This one here, I actually have the port of entry window sticker for, and a little bit of history I know on it, but nothing special by any means. Looks to be pretty solid drivetrain. That was the main reason I wanted it, was the axles and the engine. just as backup.